Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Danielle and I'm the owner of Damn Fancy Creations and the Drunk Flamingo Glitter. Today we are going to be making this adorable cow mug with some hot glue drips. I know that my cow vinyl and decals have been super popular. A lot of you guys have been pairing the pink cow vinyl with the pink cow decal, of course, because it goes well together. But I wanted to switch it up a little bit and show you guys that you can pair the decals with other vinyl that I have. And if you guys don't know already, I love leopard print, so I thought that this adorable light pink leopard print vinyl would go well with the pink cow decal, and I think it turned out adorable. Everything you see listed here will be covered in today's tutorial. Don't forget to check the description where I have all items listed that you will need to recreate this tumbler, as well as discount codes from my favorite suppliers. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any tutorials. If you guys have questions, you can always ask down below or in one of my tutorial groups. They are all linked in the description. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get started on this tutorial, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, so we are going to start with a mug and we are going to spray paint it with a flat white paint. I like these square mugs, especially if I'm doing a vinyl wrap. They're a little bit easier to do versus the curved mug with the curved handle. I will say that the curved handle is a little bit easier to glitter and epoxy versus the square edged one, but I do like the look of these. So I am just trimming my vinyl. This is my distressed pink leopard print vinyl that I offer on the drunkflamingo.com. And I am just going to use my cup cradle from Cami Page Boutique. I'm just holding it against my mug, just drawing a straight line. Since this vinyl is so thin, or like width-wise, you don't necessarily need to draw a straight line, but I like all the help I can get. So I am just wrapping it around the cup, trying to make sure that everything is lined up correctly. And then I realized that this mug is more than 12 inches around. So no matter what I did, I would always have to cut an additional piece of vinyl out. See, here I am measuring it because I was like, surely this cup is not 12 inches around. And it was like 12 and a half, I think. I like how y'all get to watch me on some tutorials, like debate how I'm going to do stuff in real time. I go in with a plan most times, but it usually ends up changing and me having to figure something else out along the way. So I trimmed my vinyl a little bit more. I wanted the pink leopard print a little less than halfway. I wanted to make sure there's plenty of room for the decal. So now that I have this lined up, I am just smoothing down my vinyl, and then I'm going to go add the other little section that I need to connect the pieces. So when I get to this handle, I am going to trim just a little section out. I'm just marking it with my pen. On where I need to trim this vinyl so it lays down around the handle. So I trimmed that one section, laid it down, and now I'm going to trim the other section. Lay that down. So now we just need to trim off that little middle piece. And you can either do this with scissors or blade. I opted to get my blade just so that edge would be a little bit cleaner. And now we need to connect the two pieces of vinyl. So typically when I have to disguise a seam, I like to find pieces of the vinyl that will match up and look seamless. So right now I am just kind of cutting pieces out of my vinyl, and I'm just holding them up against both sides just to see how they match up. And with a print like leopard print, it would be a little bit easier to match up versus something that had all sorts of different elements on it. So here I am just cutting this little piece. I'm just trimming it a little bit more, and we're just going to lay that down. So that way it matches next to the other print. And then I am just going to trim it on this side. Again, we're just getting my blade out. And then we're going to do the same thing with the section underneath the handle. So I am just taking the vinyl again, we're just trimming some sections out. For some of these, I'm just trimming the pink part, like right here, and I just laid it next to that other piece of, I don't know, pink leopard print. So I'm just going to find another section that I think is going to match up, and we're just going to connect it underneath the handle. So that way, even though our vinyl did not wrap all the way around our tumbler, it still looks like a seamless design. So next I'm just getting my heat gun out, and I am just lightly heating the edges of my vinyl so that I can smooth them down, get out any creases that I see. Since the bottom of this mug is slightly curved, you may have a couple little kind of pleats or wrinkles in your vinyl, but heating the vinyl will help smooth it out really well so that you can get rid of any of those little creases. So now we are going to go in with our glitter. I am going to use white linen. It is one of my favorite whites. It's kind of a creamy white. And y'all can see me right now. I am just touching up some areas where I may have scratched the paint. I spray painted this cup when it was raining outside, so there were a couple of little raindrops that were on the tumbler so the paint wasn't as opaque. And since I'm using a glitter that is semi-transparent, I wanted to make sure that everything was pretty white. So I'm also using my paint pen. I'm just going in and kind of touching up any little spots that I think may show through underneath my glitter. If I were using a solid color like a blue or black or other opaque glitter, I would not be doing this. I am only doing this because I'm using a glitter that is super light. Just another little tip for you guys. And then of course my paint pen went crazy and spit out a bunch of paint, so I had to use a paintbrush to cover that up. It's just lovely. So after I get all of my little scratches covered, we're going to apply our glitter. I'm going to be using Artistry's glitter glue. This is pretty much all I use to apply my glitter. We do have a discount code for them, which is Damn Fancy. And I like glitter glue because I feel it gives an application very similar to epoxy. So the glitter glue kind of levels out and smooths out. I can sprinkle a layer of glitter and then it will soak up that glitter and kind of be tacky on top. So you can sprinkle another layer, you can do ombres with it. I just really like it. So I decided to do a different colored handle. So I'm going to do my handle first since we are going to be using pink, and we're going to be using pink peppermint. I thought this color went well with the color of the vinyl and the decal that we're going to be using. And I'm doing pink first since it is our darker color. I don't want to sprinkle the white first and then sprinkle the pink and have the pink contaminate the white. But what I didn't think about is letting that white paint that I just applied dry completely. Clearly we see that there is pink on the cup, but I was able to get that all off. So I'm just touching up some spaces that I missed. And now I am just kind of scratching off the pink glitter that was on there. I just used a stiff brush and just kind of scraped the glitter off and just got off as much as I could. And I also decided to do a second coat of this glitter because I did have a few bare spots. It's kind of hard to see where you place your glue if your background is white because it all looks white. So I figured a second coat would be good and I would get good coverage over everything. And the second time that I pour my glitter, I am going to be more careful so I don't just dump it all over my cup. So once I am done with my pink, we are going to go in with the white and do the top half of our mug. And again, I am just applying glitter glue. I am just applying it right to the edge of that vinyl. And glitter glue does stay tacky for quite a while. I can do a full 30-ounce cup with one layer of glitter glue. And then we're just going to sprinkle on our glitter. And I thought I was going to have to do 2 coats of this glitter, but after I sprinkled on the first layer, I did not need to. I had really good coverage. So after this glitter glue dries, I am going to seal this with a spray sealer, and then we are going to take it downstairs and epoxy. So I'm just going to show you guys how I epoxy a mug and show you guys how I work around the handle. So when I first start epoxying my mug, I just focus on the body of the mug, just like I would a normal tumbler, just covering the whole surface. And then I am going to start working on the handle. I just apply a little bit of epoxy and then just spread that epoxy all the way around the handle, on the top side, on the bottom side, all over until I feel that everything is covered with epoxy. Then I will go back and wipe away any excess glitter. Or sorry, not excess glitter, excess epoxy. So any epoxy that you see or feel gathered around the handle where it meets the tumbler, I will just use my finger and remove it. And then I do the same thing to the rest of the tumbler. I just scrape my finger from bottom to top, remove any excess epoxy. So I will do 1 or 2 coats of epoxy and then we will be ready to decal and pinstripe. And I had this gold leopard print from, I think last year when I cut out a bunch for tumblers, and I thought they would look super cute along the bottom with this pink leopard print. I think I only did 3 or 4, just enough to add a little shimmer just to break up that pink. And I placed some of them kind of in the middle of the glitter and the vinyl. and then some along the bottom. So I did have to go back and cut the top, but I like it that way. That way they don't look just oddly spaced. So I'm just going to take my blade and cut where the vinyl was overhanging the edge, and then where it crossed that vinyl line. So that way it just looks like everything is kind of spaced normally and not just gathered in the center. So next we are going to add our pinstripe. And for this tumbler, I went with a glitter champagne. I really liked the softer feel of this tumbler and just kind of keeping it in the pink and gold color scheme. I don't know why I ripped that pinstripe off. Maybe it was messed up. I don't remember. And if you guys did not know, I do have a pinstripe file on thedrunkflamingo.com. It has 3 of my most popular sizes, which is 0.07, 0.05, and 0.03. As you can see from this frame, I like to print out full sheets of pinstripes at a time. That way I have different sizes and colors so I can layer them if I need to. And again, because this tumbler was more than 12 inches around, I am having to add a little section so that this pinstripe goes all the way around my tumbler. And then I decided to wrap my tumbler. I just angled the pinstripe, just cut it at an angle so it sits flat with the handle. And then I just kind of wrapped it around. I just wanted to break it up a little bit. Nothing too fancy. And then when I got to the bottom, I just cut it with my blade right along that base. So now we're going to put on our decal. And I use this decal because I accidentally cut him with my scissors. So I could not sell him, so I had to make a cup with him. So I'm going to move this leopard print because it would be completely covered by the cow. So we're just going to remove that. And then I will tell you guys that if I do not epoxy before my decal, you can sometimes see the pinstripes through it. So I just kind of laid my cow down and then cut the pinstripe, and then I'm going to peel that pinstripe up. That way we're not going to have like a funny line in the middle of our cow. So that's just another little trick for you guys. And I got lucky because I did not measure this cow before I put him on this cup. So he was almost too big for the mug, but he is the perfect size. But now I have to be careful with my drips because I am going to do drips all along the top. And I am going to use some of these little like, I don't know, peppermint candy sprinkles, but I'm only going to use the kind of like the mint green color and the pink. So I'm just picking out the colors that I want to use. And I do have these on my site. These little sprinkles are called Candytopia. So I'm going to get my glue gun out. I did not have any large or full-size glue sticks that were white, so I'm having to use my mini hot glue gun, which I do like. It works better than some of my other glue guns, but I do have a larger one that I love that comes with a big battery that I will link down below. It heats the glue up so much better. This one, I don't get quite as good of drips. I wouldn't say not as good. They don't drip down too far, which is probably good for this mug. So this is real time. Just so you guys know, this is not sped up. So I'm just showing you, I am just going right along the edge, and then I'm pumping an extra pump where I want a drip. And then because I know the smaller glue gun does not heat the glue as hot as my larger glue gun, I am only doing, 2 to 3 drips, and then I am adding my sprinkle, because if I wait longer, that hot glue is going to dry, and then I'm not going to be able to add the sprinkles, and I will have to use super glue or a different type of adhesive just to get the sprinkles onto the drips. And I'm using my pen to apply my sprinkles. That way I don't burn my fingers trying to get those sprinkles on. So I'm going to do one more drip in real time, and then I will speed it up. So an extra pump right there for where we want our drips to drip down. Another pump for a drip. And then we're going to add our sprinkles. So now we are just speeding things up a little bit. But already I was thinking this is turning out so stinking cute. And I will also say, if you guys are going to be doing a lot of white drips or a lot of black drips, I would suggest keeping one hot glue gun for whatever color you're using, because it can be a little hard to flush all of the color out. What I do is I keep clear glue sticks on hand. I don't really use clear glue sticks a lot, but after I'm done with a color and want to switch to a different color, I like to feed a clear glue stick through. So you're wasting that clear glue stick, but that cleans out the glue gun really well so that you're not going to have any color contamination when you go on to your next color, especially if you're doing a color like black to white or a darker color to a lighter color. You want to make sure that all of that color is out of your glue gun. So we're just adding our final sprinkles, and then he will be finished When I do sprinkles, a lot of times I do like to seal them with a liquid sealer. That way epoxy is not going to resist the little clay pieces. Sometimes I have an issue with that, sometimes I don't. And then if you need to clean up your edges, you can just take your blade and clean up the little pieces that aren't super straight. And if you seal it, once that sealer dries, we are just going to put this back on our turner for 2 additional coats of epoxy. I will also add that I do seal the textured vinyl. That always resists epoxy. Epoxy does not stick to it, so I always make sure I seal that and then epoxy. So here are some finished pictures. I think this mug turned out adorable. Even though it's pretty simple, it's one of my favorites that I've made this year so far. I just love the pink and the little peppermints and the cow. They're just so cute. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if y'all try this out, please post in the Drunk Flamingo. I love to see what you guys come up with, what inspires y'all, and how you make things your own. All right, y'all, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial or learned something new, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to catch the next video coming up that was picked just for you. As always, if you're looking for more tips, tricks, or tutorials, be sure to check out my tutorial group, my Drunk Flamingo glitter group, or my Damn Fancy tribe. All are linked in the description. Thanks for watching.